find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy?
Well, early morning on Long Lake, Kawartha Highlands Provincial Park. I'm going home. I'm battling home. I moved a couple years ago to Bridgenorth, which is just a few minutes north of the bustling city of Peterborough, and got a place, little tiny place on Chemong Lake. Not on the lake, just across the lake because I can't afford to be on the lake. And yeah, used to be a horse barn at one time, and yeah, it's now my house. Little tiny place, love it. My daughter loves it, dog loves it. What's really cool is I found out that the driveway going to my place is the old historic portage leading out of Chemong. That's ironic. I'm actually living on an old portage. So I got thinking when I moved there a couple years ago, I go, wouldn't that be cool to go to the Kawarthas and paddle back to my house? That'd be really cool. And looked at the map, and finally, yeah, it's time to do it. So my buddy Andy, he dropped me off on Long Lake, drove my vehicle back, and Angel's with me, paddling the deer flies. They're bad this morning. And people were wondering where Andy was. Well, he's here, and he's dropped me off.
Just got out of jail.
So he's dropped me off, and he's going to work. And it's early in the morning, and he's leaving. I'm going to be by myself for a whole week.
Yeah, you know, because he didn't invite me.
I've
you
had
fill in the blanks.
And it'll take us a week, I think. At least I'm going to take a week to do it. And yeah, I think it's really cool. Nice tranquil morning. Birds are singing. Deer flies are buzzing. And yeah, you can tell I'm kind of relaxed. You know, I'm not always this hyper happy camper all the time. I do have my serious side. Just heading into Stop Log, one of my favorite lakes. See if I can catch some fish. The water's really high this year. Usually it's not easy to get in here. Hi, I'll just go through here. No, I can't. Oh. Used to be another way into Stop Log. Well, it still is, I guess. Going up Deer Bay Creek, which is actually what I was going to attempt. Oh, God. I was just getting eaten alive with deer flies. Me too. So I was going to go up Deer Bay Creek in a Stop Log and go down the Missauga, whatever. And I could have because the water level is so high. But made a different choice. Yeah, there's lots of water. I mean, it's just gushing all down from the hills. Okay, we're at Stop Log, doggy. This is why I like Stop Log. First cast. This smallmouth. The other one was a largemouth. Interesting. Smallmouth are fighters and jumpers. Largemouth are boom, boom, go down deep. Caught myself a bass. Thought I caught myself a bass. I'm on turtle for tonight, just west of Stop Log, and got here really early. Like, I had lunch and then set up camp and had a nap. But I made really good time, no wind. Oh, 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 that was a big fish. Oh, he came right up beside the boat. Holy jumping. Oh, I missed him. It's good fishing. Caught almost 20 fish today. Most on Stop Log. And yeah, beautiful sight on turtle. Like this lake. And love this park, actually. I've been going here for a long time. What do you think, doggy? How's it going, doggy? Well, Kevin, if one more deer fly goes after my nose, I'm going to snap. I'm telling you, I'm going to snap like you've never seen a dog snap before. You got him? Good girl. My route from here, I go from Stop Log, Turtle, and then from Turtle tomorrow I go into Triangle, into Cox, and I'm supposed to stay at Agate Lake tomorrow night because it's really good fishing there, and actually I like having that little lake to myself. However, I forgot going solo. The only thing you have to do is to paddle, so I may just continue on and go down the Mississauga. Now, the good thing is I have cell service, so I can actually rebook my site, because you have to book your sites along here. So I'll do that and continue on. Probably spend 2 nights in Mississauga River. Mississauga, maybe? That's how you pronounce it. I can always do that wrong. Actually, my favorite place of the Kawartha Highlands, to be quite honest. A lot of people do it. Yeah, it's full of portages and rapids and stuff, but it's not a dangerous river at all. And a lot of those portages can be weighted or even run the rapids. But the bird life is amazing. The warbler species in there is just incredible. Very unique habitat, very diverse, very changing all the time. Kind of like it. Cheers, by the way. Tonight, for dessert, I'm having my shortbread with some scotch. And then from there, I'm going to go out into Buckhorn, go up the lift lock along the Trent Severn, and that'd be kind of cool. And then paddle across Buckhorn and then Chemong Lake, and then basically portage right up to my house. How cool is that? Going back, okay, so was brought up in Milton, Ontario, farm community. Went to live in Peterborough, headed to Bridgenorth. But when I moved to Peterborough, it had to be the mid 80s or maybe 1986 or around there. I worked in Fish and Wildlife, and I worked in forestry before that, and got a job here, or job in Peterborough. And I was looking for a place to go paddling, and someone at work told me about a bunch of canoe routes in the Kawarthas. So I went up. I even went to the Bancroft District Office, the M&R at the time, and they said, no, those routes aren't really maintained anymore. They're no longer viable. So I went on a bunch of them. The Turtle, for example, I went there. I went to Stop Log, went to Long, went to Serpentine, I went to Eels Creek, I went to Bottle Sucker. Now, Bottle Sucker at that time was a provincial park. They actually made those 2 lakes a provincial park at the time. And actually, there was going to be a campground built there at one time in Sucker Lake Bottle Lake by the beach, but they changed that up because of after the environmental assessment was done. So I started paddling these routes and wrote a book called Cottage Country Canoe Routes, and included a place like the Leslie Frost Center and the Kawartha Highlands and a whole bunch of other routes that weren't really documented. They were at one point. There was a book called from the M&R called Minister of Natural Resources called Ontario Canoe Routes, and you would order pamphlets and with maps, and it would show you where to go. And this was one of the areas. And then Angel's got her bear bell on, by the way. It's not a bear bell for bears. It's just so I know where she is all the time. Yeah, so I started paddling the routes and wrote the book. And the weird thing about that is, yeah, I became really busy, not particularly just because of me, but a lot of people came from Toronto. It's only like not even 2 hours from Toronto. They started paddling these routes, and I did that for a reason. I was young and naive at times, but I knew that if I told people where these routes are, they would be protected as canoe routes. and you just can't keep anything a secret, especially if it's 2 hours north of Toronto. So ended up, wrote the book. Leslie Frost Center became a protected area, managed area that we have to pay to go. A lot of people were upset with that because you used to go there, you used to go here for free. And I get that. I used to do the same thing, so it wasn't that easy. But especially when the Kawartha Highlands became a provincial park. Yeah, it was like, oh, way to go, Kevin, way to go, everybody, telling everybody now we have to pay. And well, I'll tell you what, there was nights where I go into Copper Lake on summer time, whatever, on Saturday night, and there was just tons of people trying to make a campsite, and you just can't have that. It's got to be a managed area, so it kind of had to be a park, whether we liked it or not. I actually think it's a great being a park right now. I think it's great to protect this landscape through that management system. So time goes on, people still come here. Different clientele probably. In fact, canoeing now is just a whole bunch of people are canoeing right now. And this place on the weekend, you can't get a site, and that's because there are designated sites booked. So if it was back in the old days, it would be anarchy out here. Actually, yeah, I should have put the bug shelter up tonight. I actually, it's July, for heaven's sakes. I brought it. I just didn't think I would need it because the deer flies are out, but they're manageable. And now all of a sudden, a brand new species has arrived that I haven't dealt with this year. No-see-ums, sandflies, punkies. Basically, punkies is like, it feels like a hot ash hitting your skin. And yeah, they're all over Angel big time because she's a black dog. Black attracts bugs. Oh man, yeah, that's a punky. So I'm just getting ready for the sun setting, and a couple of notes for solo paddling I'm going to make during the trip, just so if you haven't tried it before. One thing very important, whether you're tandem or solo, but especially when you're solo, tie the boat down every night. So tie it to a tree, rock, whatever, even though it's calm, beautiful evening, and you think, no way is this boat going to be flying in the water. You never know. Tie it down. You don't want to go swimming in the morning. Go get your boat. Tie it down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some dry wood for my stick stove in the morning. I'm going to have bacon, eggs. I always have that the second morning of the trip. After that, hot cereal all the way. Yay! It's a really nice night, but I can feel the barometer dropping. A whole bunch of ways you can find that out. First of all, my ears go poppy, so my joints go weird. But the leaves in the breeze right now are flipping upside down, especially trembling aspen. When they flip and show their underbellies, trembling aspen tremble in the wind. That's why it's called trembling aspen. That means the barometer's dropping and something's coming in. I might be wrong, but trembling aspen has never proved me wrong, actually. If the leaves are flipping all the way throughout the entire tree, it's going to rain for a couple of days. If just the tops, then it's going to rain just for a couple hours. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit of rain tomorrow, but nothing really major, which is fine because it was really hot today. I'm also going to hang my food. I do have one of those blue barrels, not a bear barrel, but a blue barrel. They are not bear barrels. I've been at stores where they advertise them as bear barrels. Bears look them in Algonquin as a cooler when they see them. So yeah, whether you have a barrel or a pack, waterproof pack, hang it. Especially if you're in interior places where bears get used to people. If I was in the far north, maybe not. In fact, in the far north, there probably won't be trees big enough to hang them. But in the Kawarthas, Algonquin especially, bears get used to sights, and they know where the food is, and they're coming in just like raccoons. So I'm going to hang mine. I use this. Pelican came out with this a couple years ago, I think, maybe even last year. But it's a baler with a throw rope, and really lightweight, far better than those clunky things you get at the other outdoor stores. And it's approved. So, and the baler does work, even though it didn't seem to. I've used it as a baler and it works quite fine. So what I do is I put a rock in there and toss it over. And that's how I hang my food. And the deer flies are just crazy right now. Well, I've got it all set up. I'm going to hoist it up on the one branch. Ow! Where to hang it? Hang it where nobody else hangs their barrel or their food. Bears get accustomed to where everybody hangs their stuff, and they'll try and get it. So go off the trail. Bear would usually come in on a trail as opposed to come off through the bush. So I go way off the bush, 30, 50 meters find a limb, throw a rock over in my little casing, hoist it all up, and yeah, it should be fine in the morning. Wildlife. So when you're in the woods and you hear blue jays calling off, or ravens or crows calling off, they're basically telling everybody in the woods, you're coming. So I used that to my advantage. A number of years ago, I was working in with a bunch of students, and a bunch of autistic kids got lost in the woods, and we had to do a search. The OPP arrived, it was getting dark, and we were like, oh man, we're not going to find these kids before dark. And yeah, I listened to the crows and went into the valley where the crows were calling. There were the kids. Just want to go over sleeping system. So what I do is solo. I brought a bigger tent. I don't have a 2-person. I have a solo and I have a 3-person. And since Angel's going with me, there's no way I'm going to fit her in the solo tent because she's getting wet and stinky all the time. So I brought the 3-person, and it was fine. It goes down to good size. I put the tarp inside the tent, not outside the tent, and I lay it down on the ground. That's because if it rains and the water comes seeping through the floor, which it will, doesn't matter how much money you spend on a tent, eventually that will happen. You have a barrier between you and your thermarest. If you put the tarp on the outside of the tent, it just creates a gathering place for that water. I just don't get that. So this is what I've always done. I'm still doing this system here. The what was it called? Nemo Vector insulated sleep mat, and I've been using this since the early spring, and I love it. What else? Oh yeah, I want to finish off with the bear thing. I do bring bear spray. I never used to because I got a little, paranoid about this stuff. It's effective. It will work. I've never used it. I've always carried it. But I know people that will keep this on their belt almost like it's a gun, and just as soon as a bear comes to camp, they're going to be spraying it. And that's just like disaster waiting to happen. Bears are very unpredictable. You never know what's going on. You got to figure things out first before you even think of doing this. This is the last minute. Oh my gosh. Why I put bear spray in the tent beside me? Makes me sleep better. Never had to use it, but if I had to, in theory, I could spray the bear spray in the tent. It will blind me because the canine pepper inside, and I will not see the bear killing me and eat me. The dog. Everybody goes, oh, you're going to bring the dog to help you with bears. No, the dogs will not help you with bears. There's a couple of species that will, if they're trained to hunt bears, but the majority of dogs will actually bring the bear to camp, especially a small little yappy dog. The bear will then, that's dinner. My first dog, actually, Bailey, Springer Spaniel, was in northern Quebec. A bear came to camp, and she barked and went at it, but as soon as the bear growled, she came right back to me and just cowered behind my leg, and that's not good. Bear comes into camp. They're looking for food. They're not looking for you. If they're a predaceous bear, which is a totally different video, I wouldn't even touch about that right now. But if a bear is coming into camp tonight to get my food, that is not a huge issue because it's trying to get my food, not me. So I just have to make sure I persuade it not to do that because I don't want it to have my food because I'm going on a big trip. So make yourself bigger, make yourself a lot of noise, make the bear thinking, hey, this is not worth it, I'm not dealing with this, and then move on to someone else's campsite. Just one more thing on the sleeping system, forgot. Sleeping bag. It's summer now, so I'm out to my down summer bag, and look how small it compacts. Stuff sack. That's how you deal with it. It's not weight, it's bulk. Squeeze this thing down. Look at the size of it. That is my sleeping bag. And my pillow. This is a Nemo pillow. Lots of pillows out there. I've had this one for years. Love it.